I'm Jeremy Hickerson, and this is All of Life. Hi, this is a breakdown of Johnny Smith's Black is the Color of My True Love's Hair. I'm learning this piece at the moment and can't play it cleanly up to speed, so I'm giving you the breakdown while I'm still learning it. I think it will still be valuable. I know when I was trying to figure this one out just by listening to the recording, which I'll put in the description down below, I wouldn't have passed up the chance to have somebody that already did the breakdown show me how to do it. Sometimes I like to figure things out myself. This one was a tricky one, and I would have taken the shortcut on this for sure. So I'm hoping to give that to you, and you can take it from there. All right. So the first thing about this is the focus on the top three strings for quite a bit of the early part of the song. That sort of thing. You're using just the G string, the B string, and the E string. In fact, you don't even realize that the guitar is in drop D tuning till the very end of the song when you start to get some notes on that string. And that's kind of interesting too. He just kind of works his way further down into the lower register till by the end of the song you're using the whole thing. So he really builds this well. And the whole thing is his whole approach is based on moving inner voices and bass note connected bass notes, forming melodies, sort of a. So there you've got a. It's kind of an interesting thing there. All right, so let's take it from the top. And I'm going to leave out the solo note intro, solo melody that he does in this recording that I'm posting here. That's the remastered version. On the original record, he did not have that. And so it's up to you if you want to do it. I think it's kind of nice. It starts it off really bare, and then he starts coming in with the. So let's take that one. Here you have the doubled notes, E on the B string and the E string. And then you move to the G string and the B string where you've got the D on the G string and the E on the B string. So first one, second one, and then you've got this, the C, E, B. So the bass note melody again is pretty cool. And then it just keeps going. So da, 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 and this is the B on the G string, E on the B string, and A on the E string, going up to the B melody note. Here you have the A on the G string, D on the B string, open E string, and then you take everything off but the C on the B string, playing the open G, the C on the B string, and the E. So you got on the G string. That melody on the G string just keeps coming down. Let's keep moving on. So from there you've got. That is. It's like a B minor chord, but you're just playing these from the D string. Now we've got the D string involved. F sharp on the D string, B on the G string, D on the B string, and pick the melody note, or probably with your finger. Use the flat pick for the strum and the finger for that melody note on the E on the B string. It's very important to note that Johnny Smith, in another video I saw, was talking about how he pretty much plays with the flat pick. He tries to use chord voicings that allow him to not skip any strings. I try to do that as much as I can in this song. There are some cases where I do skip strings, like here. Coming up, we've got the E string, we've got the E on the D string, the open B string, so we've skipped the G string there, and the F sharp on the E string. So that one, we're skipping the G string. Smith doesn't like muffling strings. He wouldn't like this if you say you lean your finger on the G string. He doesn't like that dead sound. That's pretty much accepted in much of jazz playing, especially amplified. And although Smith is amplified on this recording, it doesn't sound amplified. He really loves that acoustic sound, and he's talked about this. He only uses amplification because he has to. He really wants pure acoustic sound, so he tries to avoid deadening strings. In my rendition of this, I'm going to use the hybrid picking, where you go, if you have to do that, you just simply use these two fingers to grab the other two notes. Pretty much only Smith only uses 3-note chords in almost all of this, unless he's doing a full strum, something like that. And once in a while he has we had an E minor there early in the beginning. I think we're actually coming up to it, where we get a 5-note chord, but that's pretty unusual for this song. Most of the time it's 3 notes, so you can get it with the flat pick and the other 2 fingers. So here we are, back to the E minor chord, this time figuring it differently. You notice it seems to be easier to grab it like that, because you're going to go to the E minor like this, which you have to finger that E note because of the low D string. So we have that same B minor voicing, but this time finger it with the 3 finger, the little finger, and the 2 finger. Then you can jump over to this, basically a straight E minor chord, except you have to finger the low E and you stop on the B string. I like to hold the open E string with the other finger just to make sure it doesn't play. That's the first line. And then we go. So here we get the 2 strings again. The E on the B string, the open E. It's the same thing we did the first time. I think I forgot to say that. Instead of doing 2 separate notes like we did the first time, we go using that same chord voicing for the C major 7th, the C, E, and B on the top 3 string. Open E string, I usually pick it with my finger. You can get it with the flat pick. I don't know. I'm not sure which I do. It's up to you. So this chord voicing is E on the D string, open B string, G, E string, up to the B. Now we have a climbing. We go down to the low D there, but it could just as well go. Instead, it's so we've got a minor chord there, A on the D string, E on the B string, A on the E string, and then you've got this inner G triad, which you strum, B on the D string, D on the G string, G on the B string, and then an A minor triad, C on the D string, E on the G string, A on the B string, going to a D chord, open E, F sharp on the G string, A on the B string. It's good to know these triads on the inner 3 strings. If you weren't playing that melody, you just have this A minor triad, G triad, A minor triad again, and you could do the D. So those are very useful and very simple, and he builds a nice moving bass line and moving voices from chord to chord with these very simple triads. Now we have the nice bass line that goes all the way down across several strings coming up. Let's take it that far. Here we are. E on the G string, G on the B string, B on the E string, bar across so that we can come down with the bass note. We get our C major 7th voice, and again, we need to go down to the B bass note, but we do it up here to keep the melody moving. That's a B on the D string, an F sharp on the B string, a D on the E string. You have to do that with hybrid picking here. Now this is interesting, this group. You have the, so our voices have moved. The G on the A string. Now we're using the A string. We've suddenly started using that. Up till now we'd only gone as far as the B string, the D string for the most part. So now we're down to the A string. We've got a G on the A string, B on the D string, and the little finger gets the B and the E on the B and E strings, octave up, 12th fret. So this is the 10th fret here. Now, so that's basically an E minor chord with the G and the bass. And we could analyze these other chords similarly. It's interesting when you try to figure stuff out by ear, you have to kind of get inside the head of the player and figure out what they're thinking with their chord voicings. You see that they're using these triads, and you get into some theory because you know that the chords tend to go, you can always move with a, you can move back and forth in a scale, a harmonized scale from A minor to G, and it gives some motion, but you can just, you're thinking a little bit of theory there, and when you end up on the E minor, and then we're kind of sort of a F sharp minor. I think that's actually working more as a D though. So we got the E minor, sort of a D chord. So F sharp in the bass on the A string, A on the B string, E on the E string, and then grab that D on the E string with your 2 finger, which is also holding that A minor, that A note. Now we preserve that F sharp in the bass note, move it over to here, and we continue sort of a D chord with the 9th moving down to the D, the E, D, F sharp on the D string, E on the B string, A on the E string. Hybrid picking, get that moving E to D, and now we move the bass note down to E. This is an E minor 7 voice. If you were to play it like that, we just want the bass note and these 2 notes. So E on the D string, D on the B string, G on the E string, up to the A melody notes. And here's the really interesting chord coming up. And then down to this chord. So what is this? I'm not certain of these 2 chords. I listened to it over and over. I'm not sure that's what he's playing, but I know there's some kind of a dissonance in there. With this one, you've got the 2nd, and again in the G7 here, 2nd interval. So this is like an E minor 7 basically, but we're voicing it as this, so we can get that 2nd kind of a dissonance, the melody note. makes it a E minor sixth. But mostly we just want that as the melody note. In the repeat of this, it's going to go, so the melody will move into the actual chord note coming up when we repeat that. So again, if you can grab this with a bar chord, you've got an E on the A string, a G on the D string, a D on the G string, an E with the bar on the B string, and the melody note C up on the E string. We play from the A string on down, and then we bring it down to a G7. But it's voiced as the bass note is B. We don't play the root. So the third in the bass, F on the D string, open G string, open B string, little finger on the G melody note, and then an A chord. So we just did. And that A chord is just an A chord, all the strings except for the low one. The next part. A nice running bass line again. Just goes straight down. So C on the G string, open E string, which we'll have to hybrid pick with our finger there. Here we do an A minor, A on the G string, C on the B string, open E, strum. Move that A minor to the open G. And get the F sharp against the G, open, melody note. So F sharp on the D string, open G, open B, B up on the E string, open E, and here we go, just a strum, all four notes, E minor, E on the D string, open, open, melody note on the G, up to the melody note B, and we go. So, we go. Here's our A minor voicing just on these three strings, strumming. That's a C on the D string, E on the G string, A on the B string. The bass note one down, which is a B, now an E on the G string and a B on the top E string, skip the B string. So you pick that. It's an E minor chord. And an A minor chord. A on the D string, E on the B string, C melody note. Again, we have now a nice, little bit faster descending bass line melody thing here. What was that? The bass line goes. Down to there, so we have. Here we have the E on the G string, open E string, down a half step, melody note now on the B string, which we pick. It's a G on the B string, a D on the G string. As we're letting the half step come down, keep that G sounding. There's our C major 7th voicing. C on the G string, E on the B string, B on the E string, which the same voicing we saw in the beginning melody. B on the G string, E on the B string, A on the E string, up to the B melody note. Here we have, so the bass note was B, now it's A. Strum the A minor, A, C, open E, all strings open, open G, open B, open E. Now here's our B minor voicing again to the F sharp bass, just like before. Just like before, as at the beginning, same one, E, minor voicing again with the different fingering as before. Now we slide these two down and grab all four of these notes on the second fret to get a suspended E. We stop it on the B like before, but we've got the A right there. So beautiful. Back up to where we started, we just repeat that figure. And then we change it a little bit. Open E string. We've got a E minor chord, just the E on the D string, open B string, G on the E string, hybrid pick, up to the melody note on the B here, 7th fret. It's that climbing A minor, G, A minor, D, like we had before. Now we have the same thing on the descending bass line as we had before, just with a little bit extra thrown in. Now this bass note on the B here moves to the A. Here we have the same chord voicing as before, the little finger up there, the two notes. But a slight change. We pick up this moving voice, a G sharp up to the A that's coming. So and here we change it a little bit. We get the moving voice again. So this inner voice here goes on the B string. Same chord here. But we slide the melody note down. So we make a descending melody up in the high register there. And now we finally get to use the 6th string. So this is just an open everything except for our little A minor pattern there on top. A on the G string, C on the B string, open E. And what that is a D suspended. Sort of like that, or that sort of, it's like a C, sort of a C with a D in the bass, I guess you would say. To a G with the 6th thrown in. Here's the G bass note. Oh, you know, we're barring across, so we've got these nice fifths. G, the D, the G again, the D on the G string, and then the E from the bar, and the melody note B. There's the 6th. Open E. And now we go. Got a little G pattern there. We're using like a D pattern up here on the 7th fret, which is a G. We bar across here, we could have the whole G chord. We just use the top 4 strings. This is the trickiest, hardest part of the song to finger because we want to get this bass line that goes, and then we end up with this long stretch here of the E, the open B string, and the high B melody note. You can just barely get up to this D7. Strum all the strings. Open, open, open. C on the D string on the 10th fret, bar on the 7th fret. Those two, and then the C melody note. So to repeat. So we have this chord here, we want to go. So the first strum is just the G, D, G, B, and then we get all the notes. So we've got the bass note there. Now we do an F sharp and a D on the B string, little finger with the A melody note. Here's our stretch. And then the open D. The ending this is. It's an extra melody he added on, but it really works. So here we have a C. We're just using this same chord voicing, like the D pattern with the bar across the low strings. Up here on the 10th fret, it becomes a C chord. And we change that now into sort of a D minor pattern on the B. Just here we've got the G again. Same with the D pattern. Now we switch to an F sharp minor. This is interesting. From the higher notes down, we have an A on the E string, an E on the B string. Grab the pinky C sharp on the G string and bar the other three. Sort of an F sharp minor thing there. We have F sharp, C sharp, F sharp again. So definitely an F sharp minor. And then a very interesting F chord suspended. And grab the harmonic up there, which is this G string on the 5th fret, so it's the 5th fret above the 12th here. You can touch that there and pick it with your other finger. Now, so that's it. It's the F. It's like a C9 kind of. C add 9, I guess you would say. But because of our tuning with the drop D, we have an F note available there that turns that into a sort of an F. Not a suspended, but it's a 6th, I guess. But we have the nice C against the D. So anyway, it's not an F suspended, it's an F6. F add 6, maybe. Very nice. By the tuning, we can do that. Turn the C add 9 into the F6th with the harmonic. And now we have a B minor 7. That's all it is straight B minor 7, but we add the pinky on the A. And then we get the harmonic from the D here. 3rd fret, so 3rd fret above the 12th. And an A chord with the E in the bass. Why do we have that E in the bass? We were just on the B minor. Here's where the theory comes in again. You go from the 5 to the 1. So we were with our descending bass line again. Up here we had a C. Ba, ba, na, ba, ba, ba. And then I hit that too hard. My string's coming up a little in pitch, I think. And then we go to the E minor. We have the fingered E. Can't get that from the open note, so we have the E there, and then the other E minor notes. And then open G, open B, open E, G on the B string, up to the harmonic, B string 12th fret, and then the top 3 notes, 12th fret, fingered with the 3 finger, I think is good. And end on this, which is sort of a power E minor chord on the A string, D string, and G string. 7th fret, A string, 9th fret, D string, 9th fret, G string. Thank you for watching, and I wish you well in playing this. It's a beautiful arrangement, well worth putting the trouble in to learn and to be able to play, which is what I'm still working on. Thanks again.